Hey everyone, so in this video, we're going to be looking at how to integrate to your Shopify store. And more specifically, we're going to be looking at how to bring over your products and services from your Shopify store into your QuickBooks Online account. So here in your QuickBooks Online account, you'll notice that under products and services, we've already created a couple of products and services manually. What we're going to be looking to do next is if I head over here to my Shopify store, we're going to be looking to bring over these specific products that I created in my Shopify store over to my QuickBooks Online account. And so I should mention, make sure that you are signed into your Shopify account in order for this to work. And if you don't have a Shopify account, it's super easy to sign up for one. Just head over to Shopify's website, and you can even just sign up for a free trial. It's really easy to get started, and you can just create a couple of products, a couple of fictitious products if you'd like to sort of follow along. So of course, the benefit of integrating something like QuickBooks Online to a Shopify store, for example, would be, you don't want to be creating the same products in two different places. You want to make sure that, let's say, if you just have a Shopify store and you're creating the products there, that they automatically sync over to QuickBooks Online. And that's the benefit of having that integration. There's other benefits as well, like when you take an order from Shopify, it can automatically create a sales invoice in QuickBooks Online. So there's lots of different benefits to having an integration with something like Shopify. So let's go ahead and get started with the actual integration. In order to begin, we're going to head over to the navigation bar and we're going to click on Apps. And this is going to bring us to the app screen. And this is almost like a marketplace of various different apps that are available to you. So if you just think about some of the common apps that you use today that have data in there that may be useful in QuickBooks Online, well, then these apps probably exist in this apps marketplace. So, like a Salesforce app or Shopify or Square or Stripe, anything that contains data that be useful in QuickBooks Online probably exists here, and you can more than likely connect to it. So some of these apps are free, some of them are paid. We're only going to be looking at free apps and ones that actually work in this particular course. So in order to get started with the integration, here under the search bar here, we're going to type in Shopify. And we're just going to go ahead and press enter and see what we get. So here we see that we've got 31 results for Shopify. So you'll notice right away that there are a number of different ways that you can integrate with Shopify. So which is the right method, which is the wrong method. So the thing is, there are so many different offerings and ways that you can integrate. You kind of have to do a little bit of your own research based on the reviews of a specific app or the comments or even the scope of the app and what's covered. So some apps allow you to bring over all data. Some apps only allow you to bring over certain data. And then again, some apps are paid for and some are free. So just go through and, have a look through and decide on the one that best fits your business. But I've already done some of my research here, and the one that's actually free and actually works and is really good is this Shopify by OneSaas app. And you can see here that it has 577 reviews, all of which are 5 stars. So this is definitely a good app. It's free and it's also one that works. So this is the one that we're going to go with. So let's just go ahead and click on it. And then you're going to see this pop-up appear here. So you can see here Shopify by OneSaas. And at a high level, it syncs your orders, products, and inventory from your e-commerce store automatically. So if you just scroll down, there's a little bit more information on the key benefits and how it actually works. I believe there's also a little video tutorial or at least some screenshots here. And then if we scroll down a little bit further, you can see here that under pricing, this is, you can allow for unlimited users and it's completely free. So some of these apps, like I said, do require you to pay, but we're only going to be looking at free apps in this course. So in order to get started, what you're going to do is you're going to scroll back to the top and you're going to click on this button that says Get App Now. So once you do that, you'll notice that the OneSaas app is loading, and here it's prompting you with a question. So it's letting you know that it's going to connect Shopify by OneSaas to Scranton Supplies or whichever or whatever your business name is. So here it's just saying, let's connect Shopify by OneSaas. And if you click down here, it'll just give you a little bit more information as to what's happening. But really what it's saying is that, we're getting access to your data, and do you allow for this kind of access? So I'm going to go ahead and say yes and click connect. So go ahead and click connect. And once that starts to load up, you can see here that it's preparing QuickBooks Online integrations. Okay, so perfect. So now it brings you to this screen where it's asking you to connect OneSaas Retail to your Shopify account. So if you're already a customer, which I am, you can click on this Connect to Shopify button. And if you're new to Shopify, you don't have an account, you can actually click here and start a free trial. So because we already have an account, I'm going to go ahead and click on Connect to Shopify. And that's going to bring up a pop-up, and it's asking for our Shopify domain. So in order to get this, just head back to your Shopify store, and your domain should just be here in your URL. So just go ahead and copy this part of your URL, head back to the portal and click on Connect to Shopify. And then just here, just copy and paste in your Shopify domain. And then next, go ahead and click on Connect to Shopify. And now it's just verifying your connection to Shopify. Looks like that's successful. And perfect. Looks like we are in. So you're probably wondering, like, what is this? Like, where are we right now? So think of this, this app. So OneSaas. Think of this as sort of like a middle person in between your QuickBooks Online account and your Shopify account. So this is where you're going to specify what data you want to send back and forth, how often you want to send that data back and forth. And you're going to be able to manage some other rules and conditions and whatnot using this OneSaas platform app. But think of this as really the middle person in between your Shopify account and your QuickBooks Online account. So the first thing that it's asking us about is the synchronization options. So really it's asking here about, when do you want to start synchronizing this integration. So this is just, you could select a specific date. So I can just leave that here as April 16, 2021. And next it's asking for send me a sync report email. So let's say if there's an error, it will send you an email letting you know that there's an error. So let's say you created a product in Shopify and it didn't sync over to QuickBooks Online, then it'll send you an error letting you know. So you can either have the email send out to you only when there's an error, or you can have that send out to you daily, or don't send me sync reports at all. So I'll just leave this default selection as is, and I'm going to go ahead and select I have read, understand, and agree to the policies here. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on Turn Integration On here. So that's going to turn on the integration. So that's actually going to be turning on an integration sync. So that means that, as of April 16th, it's going to start doing an integration. And you can see here, actually, it's an hourly synchronization. So the next sync is in 57 minutes. But I'm not going to wait 57 minutes for this sync to occur. So instead, what I want to do is I want to actually do this sync manually. So in order to do that, I'm going to turn off this auto sync by clicking on this Turn Auto Sync Off button. And perfect. So now it's going to allow me to sync my data manually. So let's actually look down here. So if we click into this area here, you're going to see a couple of different options as to what you can actually integrate, or the data that you can sort of send back and forth. So let's just look through these. So the first one is when an order is created in Shopify, you can create a sale in QuickBooks Online. So really, if you have an order in Shopify, you can actually create an invoice directly in QuickBooks Online automatically, as opposed to creating invoices manually. When a payout is paid by Shopify, create a deposit in QuickBooks Online. When a product is created in Shopify, create an item in QuickBooks Online. This is definitely the one that that we're going to be looking at in this video. And then when stock levels are updated in QuickBooks Online, update stock levels in Shopify. So a number of different options that you can choose from here. I'm going to choose this option for this video. So when a product is created in Shopify, create an item in QuickBooks Online. And you'll see here that it asks you for a number of different selections here. So it's asking firstly, match Shopify products by the following QuickBooks field. So just if you're ever unsure, just go ahead and hover over this question mark. So it says here, some long-term users of QuickBooks Online have populated their item SKUs into the name field of their QuickBooks Online account. So if you fall under this scenario, please select the name option. So in my case, I don't fall into that scenario, so I'm actually going to select the SKU option. And let's maybe take a look at the next item, create item as. So it's asking for these products. Let's just head back here. So for these products here in your Shopify store, do you want to create them as non-inventoried items or inventoried items? So if I click on inventoried items, it's going to ask for a little bit more information from me, just like if you were creating an inventoried item in QuickBooks Online. But for demonstration purposes, I'm going to stick to non-inventoried items. So let's click back here. And then the last two things that it's asking for is, which income account should it use? So similarly to setting up a product in QuickBooks Online, it's just asking which income account this should go to. So every time someone purchases one of these products, then where should we be tracking that income to? So I'm going to leave it here in the default sales account as is. So that looks good to me. And then the expense account that it should go to is cost of goods sold. I'm good with that default as well. So I'm just going to leave that as is. So perfect. So once you're good with that, just go ahead and click save. And now it's actually saved the actual integration and the preferences around that integration. So now if I want to actually sync my data real time, using this manual sync button, what I can do now is this button here where you see sync now. If I click that, then all of those products that you see, or those two products in the Shopify store, will sync over to our QuickBooks Online account. So let's go ahead and trigger a manual sync now. So it's saying that it's synchronizing. And so while this is all loading up, let's just head over to our QuickBooks Online account and close out of this box here and head over to the products and services page. And hopefully by then it should be here. So perfect, there it is. So you can see that both of these products came over. So Dunder Mifflin Paper and Jim's Teapot. Both are non-inventory items. You can see the sales price for each of those, and those are exactly these products here. You'll notice that it didn't bring over the pictures, so I guess we'll just upload those manually. I guess it doesn't bring over the images. So in order to do that, let's actually do that together. So let's just click Edit here, and then here under the Images option here, just bring in the image that you want. And obviously this is completely optional. And I'm actually going to remove the SKU. It automatically created a SKU here. So let's remove that and click Save and Close. And then let's just add an image for Jim's Teapot and also remove the SKU. Perfect. All right, so now you can see that these products and services synced over. So now that you know how to integrate QuickBooks Online with your Shopify store, now if you just have all of your products and services in your Shopify store, you can just sync this over automatically. So any changes that you make in your Shopify store or the products and services in your Shopify store, they will automatically sync over here to QuickBooks Online. So one other thing that I just want to quickly test out is if I create a new invoice, I just want to make sure that these products and services are listed there as well as options. So let's close out of here and under products and services. Yeah, perfect. So you can see here Jim's Teapot and Dunder Mifflin Paper made its way over here as options in the products and services section. So perfect. Let's close out of here. So that pretty much does it for this particular video. What we wanted to look at here was how to set up an integration between QuickBooks Online and your Shopify store. And we also wanted to look at how to sync over your products and services from your Shopify store into your QuickBooks Online account. So I hope you enjoy that, and we'll see you in the next one. Hey everyone. So in this video, we're going to be connecting to our Shopify store again. And specifically what we're going to be looking at is when we receive an order in our Shopify store, it's going to auto generate an invoice in our QuickBooks Online account. So before we get started, just make sure that you are already signed into your Shopify account, which you can see here. I'm already signed into my Shopify store. If you don't have a Shopify store, you can just head to shopify.com and sign up for a free trial, or you can just sort of follow along and watch the video for informational purposes. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So in the navigation bar here, just click on apps here. And then in the search bar here, just type in Shopify. And in a previous video, we talked through how to navigate through this app section and, picking out the right app. So I'm not going to cover that again, but I'm just going to head straight to the app that we want to use for this integration, which is Shopify by OneSaas. So let's go ahead and click on Shopify by OneSaas. And then you're going to get this pop-up here. So then just click on Get App Now. And now it's just going to be synchronizing and connecting our QuickBooks Online account with our Shopify account. And if this is the first time that you're doing this, it might ask you to authenticate and put in your Shopify credentials. But because we've already done this from a previous video, it's just connected this automatically. All right, so once you get signed in here into OneSaas, you're gonna see a screen like this. And in a previous video, what we showed was, we synced over our product information from our Shopify store into our QuickBooks Online account. But in this video, as I was mentioning, we are going to be looking at bringing over any orders that are created in Shopify, and we're going to be showing them as invoices in QuickBooks Online. So go ahead and click into this area here to go in and make some edits. And so what we're seeing here is, the first thing that it's asking is when we retrieve orders from Shopify, it's just asking, what kinds of orders we want to retrieve in terms of the payment status of those orders. So do we want to retrieve everything, or maybe just ones that are authorized? So go ahead and select and unselect the ones that apply to you. So I'm just going to go ahead and deselect some of these ones. And then also the fulfillment status. So do you want to bring over an order with any of these fulfillment statuses or just certain ones? Just go ahead and select the ones that apply. And then also the sources as well. So I'm just going to leave all of those checked off. The next thing it's asking is, do you want to create this order as a sale? So a sales invoice, or do you want to create it as a sales receipt? So if someone's making an order, they're paying right away, you might just want to record it as a receipt. But in our situation, we're actually going to generate an invoice from the order. So I'm gonna keep the sales invoice option selected. And then if we click on the default products and advanced options here, we're gonna see a few more other things that we can actually fill out. So order prefix number, what this is asking for is when it generates an invoice in QuickBooks Online from Shopify, it's asking, do we want to add any kind of prefix to the actual invoice number? And actually, if we head back to our QuickBooks Online account for a moment and we head over to settings and then account and settings, if you remember, we looked at this option a little earlier in one of the earlier videos. So if we click on sales, so if you click on sales and then here under sales form content, you'll notice this option, custom transaction number. So we had it enabled, and what that allows us to do is bring over a custom and unique and invoice number from Shopify. So we're going to keep that as is. But if you wanted to use QuickBooks Online's invoice numbering, then you can just toggle this off. But what I want to do is I want to specifically identify any transactions coming over from Shopify with an S in front. So that's why I put this S here in front. So you can add whatever you'd like. You can even just put like shop, and then like that would be the prefix that shows up on the invoice number. Okay, assign to class. So we're not going to assign anything to any classes, or we're not going to assign the order to any locations. Assign sale to the original customer, customer's organization, or generic online sales customer. So we're of course going to assign it to the original customer. And then here it's just asking about the invoice numbers again. So we're going to leave that unchecked unless you want to go with the naming convention in QuickBooks Online. And the next area is asking about discount products and where we want to track that to. So I'm just going to leave that as the default. And then same with rounding off products. So if there's any errors with rounding off, where we want to track that to, I'm going to leave that as the default as well. Shipping item, I'm going to leave that blank. And then due date offset. So this is asking for what you want to set as the due date of this specific order, or in our case, the invoice. So I'm going to leave this as 30. I mean, you could put whatever you want if you want it to be net 15 or even 0, so pay on receipt kind of thing, but I'm going to leave this as 30. And then allow credit card payments. We obviously haven't enabled the payments module in QuickBooks Online, but you can leave this checked off. That's not going to really do anything. Okay, so if you scroll down, there's a few other things here as well that you can update. Tax codes, the products, and we walked through how to update products in a previous video. And then here you can see like sending payments from Shopify to QuickBooks Online. So any payments that you receive in Shopify, you can actually indicate, which QuickBooks Online account you want to deposit that to. We're not going to be really looking at that in this video. So once you are done updating the data settings, just go ahead and click Save here. Perfect. So now we've saved this. And then if we actually head over to our Shopify store, I just want to show you the order that we're going to be syncing over. So go ahead and create an order in Shopify if you haven't done so, or once again, just feel free to follow along. But you can see here that I've created an order. The customer is Kelly from Kelly's store, and she has ordered 2 teapots and 3 stacks of paper. And so the total invoice is $45. So if we head over here to QuickBooks Online and head over to sales and customers and head over to Kelly's account, when we do this sync, we're going to eventually see that transaction appear here. So let's head back over to the OneSaas portal. And then once you're ready to do the sync, just click on sync now. And of course, you can see here that I've got auto sync turned off. But, as you go live with this, you probably want to switch auto sync on so that the data syncs over on a regular basis. But just because I want to show this in real time, I've switched off auto sync, and instead I'm just going to click sync now. So let's go ahead and click sync now. And then just wait for that synchronization to complete. So we'll just give it a moment. Alrighty, so that's done now. So if we head back over to our customers tab in QuickBooks Online and just refresh this page, we should see that order come through as an invoice. So here we go. So you can see that the invoice appears here as a transaction. You can see that here's the invoice number S as we used for the prefix, and then the invoice number, the date, the actual balance. And if we click into it, you're just going to get a little bit more detail in relation to that invoice. You can see that it's being issued to Kelly Kapoor. You can see that here's today's date, and the due date is 30 days from now. It doesn't look like it auto fills out the terms. I guess you have to do that here in QuickBooks Online. So I'll just select net 30. And then down here under the products and services, you can see the products and services have come over. So the teapot, she's purchased 2 of those, and then 3 stacks of paper for a total invoice of $45. And so now from here, I can actually save and send this invoice out to Kelly, but I'm not going to do that, but you totally can. And I'm just going to go ahead and close out of here. So now you can see, we've actually received this transaction directly from Shopify, and it's actually created an invoice. So that's pretty much all I wanted to cover for this particular video. As you saw on the previous screen, you can integrate with Shopify and bring over lots of different data. But in this video, we just showed how to auto-generate an invoice. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one.